Those who go to the Czech Republic usually begin their trip to Prague, the nation's famous capital. Travelers should plan to spend at least 3 full days here because there are so many historical sites and treasures to discover in this city. It's safe to say there's never a bad time to visit Prague given the variety of activities available throughout the 4 distinct seasons. In spite of the nation's communist past, it's still among the best preserved urban areas in all of Europe. Budget travelers will still find plenty to enjoy here despite the fact that it's no longer the cheap city it was once famous for. Here's our selection of the top activities in the city to help you set up the ideal trip to Prague. Number 10. Admire the Church of Bones. Kutna Hora offers a more understated but no less striking view of Czech customs and culture. However, tucked away among its medieval churches and Baroque-style structures is a site that's undoubtedly not for the timid traveler. A brief stroll through the winding streets of Sedlik, a small suburb, will bring you to the Church of All Saints, a charming but disturbing chapel. Although it has a modest exterior, there's a fascinating story of mystery and death beneath. The Sedlik ossuary is located in the lower section of this Roman Catholic church, accessible via a narrow staircase. Known as the Church of Bones, it houses about 40,000 human skeletons that were excavated from a cemetery in the 15th century. It seems that the skeletons were kept in the basement until 1870, when a carpenter was assigned to arrange them. The end product is a chandelier made completely of bones and a set of human skulls stacked on top of one another. Number 9. Stroll through the Wallenstein Garden. The Senate of Czechia is currently housed in the Wallenstein Palace. This palace isn't just about that. With its fascinating history and an array of magnificent flora and fauna, it merits a place on your next Prague itinerary. Wallenstein Garden, which dates back to 1630, is obscured by a number of structures in Mala Strana. It's surrounded by a stunning Baroque complex and features a delightful assortment of sights, including statues with Greek influences and a few wandering peacocks. Most visitors to the garden appear to have found it by chance. There are some tourists here, but not nearly as many as you'll find elsewhere. This is due to the fact that it's concealed behind a massive wall and is only reachable through some modest doors. Number 8. Go up the Vitkov Hill. The verdant hill close to the city center draws both locals and visitors. To get there, you're able to take a pleasant stroll from nearby public transport stations. Following a brief walk, you'll reach a location where the sculpture of Jan Žižka is clearly visible. There's a fascinating past to the monument. It served as a storage facility for the German army during World War II. After that, the communist government used it for propaganda. As of right now, you can see the National Monument is beaming with pride. Number 7. Stop by the Josefov. Josefov, named for Joseph II, the Holy Roman Emperor, contains a lot of history in its small footprint. The Jewish district has frequently found itself at the center of historical events, from being the birthplace of Franz Kafka to serving as the Golem's hiding place. Thankfully, the majority of the important historic structures in this area are still in good condition and serve as reminders of the Jewish community's contribution to Prague's past. Perhaps the most well-known of them is the Old Jewish Cemetery. Today, Josefov is among the most visited tourist destinations in Prague. There are several buildings in the neighborhood with interesting histories, not the least of which are the 6 synagogues. The Klassen Synagogue is one of the biggest in town right now. Number 6. Try a traditional Czech meal. It's likely that you're unfamiliar with Czech cuisine, and that's understandable. Unlike Spanish or Italian cuisine, Czech cuisine hasn't become very popular. That's because cooking and perfecting it frequently take many hours. Traditional Czech dishes are very hearty. They often include soups, sauces, and dumplings all in one plate. Think of having roast duck with vegetables as well as hundreds of fruit-filled dumplings and different soups on the side. Before you depart Prague, you must try at least one of these incredible dishes. Of course, you don't exactly picture yourself in Prague enjoying a delicious Czech meal. Nonetheless, it's an essential aspect of visiting this nation. Local pubs serve up delicious versions of these traditional meals cooked to perfection, enough to satisfy even the pickiest Czech elders. Remember to quench your hunger with a fresh beer such as a locally brewed Staropramen to help with digestion. Number 5. Chill at Naplavka. The area along the riverbank beneath the Jiriskov Bridge, known as Naplavka, is home to a number of eateries and bars. As soon as the weather warms up, a lot of people come here to enjoy a stroll along the river, go roller skating, bike riding, or just have a beer. Many Czechs can be seen lounging along the riverbank area on bright and sunny afternoons. There are boats all along it offering snacks like traditional sausages, beers, and mixed drinks. It's a particularly lovely place to hang out in Prague at sunset. Historically, Praguers did not use the area near the river for cultural events. The basic idea of elevated barriers began to come out in 1841 as a defense against catastrophes like flooding, and the enormous structures were finished in 1910. Number 4. Explore Prague Castle. You'll be led to believe that you're on the set of a Disney film if you go to the famous Prague Castle. This complex of residences has been around since the 9th century and continues to be in use right now as the presidential residence of the nation's leader. It's not too difficult to get to this location. The most popular route is to use the side entrance of the castle after taking tram number 22 and 23 to Prague Hrad. After exiting the tram, make a left turn and the sidewalk will take you directly to the entrance. The complex of Prague Castle is very large. The length of it descends to Malá home to numerous chateaux and palaces. It's therefore not surprising that it's thought to be the world's longest-standing ancient castle. Number 3. Have a cup of coffee. The world of coffee holds a special place in the heart of the Czech capital. Numerous cafes in this area served as popular gathering spots for writers and intellectuals, cultivating a culture that propelled their names into the global arena. Each one has a distinct vibe. Many of them have managed to preserve their original character for more than a century, providing visitors with memorable views, top-notch coffee, grab-and-go simplicity, and a glimpse into the city's history. Number 2. Visit Clementinum. This commonly overlooked location in Prague, which is close to Charles Bridge, is still a fantastic place to visit. It's a large complex of exquisite Rococo and Baroque halls primarily used by the Czech National Library today. Although the majority of the buildings are off limits to the public, you're free to move around the courtyards. You can still take in the scenery from the tower summit. It offers a 360-degree panorama of the Charles River and Old Town Square. Number 1. Go pub hopping. One of the reasons you're visiting the Czech capital will become clear to you as soon as you enter one of Prague's beer pubs. These places have a nice vibe and patrons are always up for a good Czech beer and conversation. In Prague, you should have multiple beers. Even if you don't think you like beer, it'd be a mistake not to have one in this city. Sincerely, until you've enjoyed a tank of Pilsner Urquell on a steamy summer night, don't talk bad about beer. That could really change everything. The takeaway. Are you a first-time visitor who's unsure of what to do in Prague? Prague offers a plethora of sights and activities ranging from the magnificent Old Town Square to the most expansive medieval complex in Europe situated atop the city. Prague is undoubtedly a very popular travel destination. The majority of visitors only stay in the city center for a few days. While there's nothing wrong with that, it's not the best way to have the most fun while you're here. If you venture outside the city center, you'll discover neighborhoods with a totally different feel and vibe that are almost entirely inhabited by locals. Of course, you can use the list previously shown to you as a reliable guide during your Prague trip. Guys, also check out the best restaurants in this amazing city in the video being displayed on your screen.